Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special episode of Cocktails and Convos. My name is Chris, and my pronouns are he and him.
My name is Shane, and my pronouns are he or they.
And our drink of the day today is just spiked hot chocolate because we're feeling cozy. It's been raining in LA. It seemed like a good thing to do today.
I mean, it's been raining for like a month, and we don't get that, so we wanted it to be
It was cold.
cozy.
We were cold.
Yeah,
it was cold. Cold boys. All right, and remember, if you folks are drinking at home with us, make sure that you enjoy responsibly because
we want you to be safe.
Yeah, absolutely, we want to be safe.
Absolutely.
I was trying not to swear there because my mom told me not to swear. I know she's watching. Hi, Mom.
I'll hear the pause where it would be.
Yeah, that's real. Absolutely, Ted. Okay, so today, Shane, would you like to introduce the topic?
So we're going to talk about coming out, and specifically, we're going to talk about our coming out experiences and kind of our stories, and we just want to kind of give you guys a chance to get to know us, and, you know.
Every queer YouTuber does a coming out video.
We had to do it.
And we've been out for decades, so combined. Years together.
Yes.
We've been out for a long time, and
like,
so
I haven't even been alive for that long.
You've been alive for 2 decades.
2 decades, but that's
yeah. And so we just felt as though we wanted to do this. We think it's an important thing to talk about, and I think us sharing a little bit of who we are might give some context for what we talk about and how we respond and how we communicate together,
and why our opinions are kind of the way that they are. I think a lot of my scope of the world and the reason that my opinions are what they are is largely based on my identity as a queer person.
Yeah, absolutely. Our experiences color the lens in which we see the world.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about that a little bit before, but where we come from is how we arrive. That's gonna be deep there, but I decided to say fuck it. But yeah, where we come from helps define who we are today, even though it's not everything, but it's part of it. It's part of how you grow.
So,
yeah.
Anyways, we're gonna do what every queer YouTuber does, and we're gonna tell our coming out stories. So let's
let's get into I think part of this is important because people haven't said anything about it, but we say our pronouns before every episode, and we feel that's very important.
Yeah, in our intro, we always introduce our names and we state our pronouns, and there's a couple reasons why we do that.
Absolutely.
So, me personally, I'm gonna come out right now, right here, right now. I am trans. So,
what?
You knew that?
I didn't know that. Ted didn't know that.
That's a bit. Everyone in this room knows that I'm trans. I'm very open about it. But part of the reason why we state our pronouns is because we want to normalize it. Just by looking at someone, you don't necessarily know how they identify. And so just by saying your pronouns, you're able to make that a normal thing. Because I am cis-passing. So I want to take that privilege and do good things with it.
Absolutely.
And make it normal to state your pronouns. If you just, every time you meet someone, hi, my name is Shane and these are my pronouns, it makes it a normal thing so that people that aren't comfortable doing it and are trans and maybe are struggling don't have to feel like it's an awkward or weird thing to do.
Absolutely.
Because if cisgendered people are doing it, then it's just normal. It's something that everyone does.
Yeah, for real. It's important because as our society, evolves and grows and is becoming more enlightened on the ideas of sex and gender and sexuality and who we are as people, and those things are starting to become mainstream is the wrong word, but more normalized and more okay at a view. It's important that we continue to enlighten ourselves in that way to make the world accessible to people who are, historically have been disparaged and discriminated upon.
Yeah. And
and it's such a minor thing to do. It's so easy to go, hi,
Yeah.
I remember the first time I ever had to do it, and actually it's silly that happened. I was on a panel, my friend was called the Big Queer Senior Thesis. One of my friends did a panel about a play that had transgender characters in it, and I was invited to be like a guest on the panel to talk about the play afterwards. And another guest said we should do our pronouns, and I was very jarred by that, and I'd never done it before, and I was just like, yeah, okay. And I was like, hi, I'm Chris, and I was very,
It was a new experience to you.
Yeah, totally. But and at that time, I didn't necessarily see the merit in it, but now it's
or understand exactly why it was necessary or important.
100%, yeah.
Because to you, you're like, well, obviously I'm a dude.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
yeah, that's one of the reasons we think why we do that. We think it's important. It's inclusive,
Yeah.
And so I just feel like we need to just dive into it and just kind of go for it.
Yeah.
So we can start with you, Shane. How old were you when I guess you had multiple comings out, and our big joke for Shane is he's been every wing of the LGBTQA plus community.
I've come out probably more times than I can count.
Yeah.
But here's the funny thing is, when it came to my sexuality, I never really came out officially ever.
That's funny.
I think, I'll start by saying that I came out as trans right before my 16th birthday.
Okay.
Like, to my family.
Yeah.
Did
you come out to your whole family, or was it a person specific you hopped from?
I came out to my immediate family.
Okay.
I came out to my mom, and then right after that to my dad and my sister, and just like my immediate family, all right before my 16th birthday. Because there's a little family tradition, and for my 16th birthday, I was supposed to get diamond earrings.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't let my mom buy me diamond earrings that I'm never gonna wear.
Yeah.
And I was like, not that men can't wear diamond earrings, but at the time, I was like, I don't want them, and I'm a man, and I gotta tell her. I can't explain to her in any other way why I don't want diamond earrings.
Right, 100%.
Because it wouldn't have made sense to her.
Right, and when you're, correct me if I'm wrong, when you're first coming out, something like that, which is stereotypically feminine, is kind of the
exact opposite of what you want.
Exactly.
I'm gonna own up to it. When I first came out, I took on a very toxically masculine identity, because I had to overcompensate for people to acknowledge who I was.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've worked really hard on not doing now.
100%.
So basically, when it came to my sexuality, I started dating fairly young. I was probably like 13 when I went on my first date. It's California. It's LA.
No, I can relate to that. I dated people, but I was never like, physical or anything. It was just, oh my God, let's hold hands.
Oh, I might have done some things, but that's not the point of this.
Yeah.
When I first started dating, I was dating girls, I was dating guys, and I dated non-binary people. I was just dating everyone. And I think the first time that I brought home someone that wasn't a guy, I didn't warn my parents or anything.
Yeah.
I was just like, I wasn't like, oh, I'm a little gay. I was like, oh, this is my girlfriend. And they were like, oh, okay.
Cool.
And, my parents are my grandpa is a Southern Baptist minister, and my dad goes to church every Sunday.
Yeah.
And, they're religious people.
It's real.
And I was raised in the church, and but I still never really came out. I was just kind of like, this is my girlfriend, deal with it.
That's ballsy. That's ballsy.
With my sexual, but I knew my sister from the time I was probably 8 years old was always like, in a joking way, but completely serious, if you're gay, it's okay. We'll still love you. I was like, haha, shut up. I'm not gay. So
surprise, queer as hell.
We all were like, I'm not gay. It's fine. We all went through it.
Yeah, but I was the mean kind of I'm not gay.
Oh, see, I just laughed it off. I was just like, yes.
I was an asshole.
But I very, very quickly was just like, anyways, I'm dating people. I'm gay.
Yeah, have fun. Deal with it.
Whatever.
For real. I think when I came out, I came out to a few friends, very select. I came out to friends before I came out to family. And I came out to a very select few people, I think when I was, I must have been 16.
Mm-hmm.
And I came out as bisexual at first. And then I ended up like coming out to the whole school by accident because that wasn't by accident. It was very on purpose. But I changed my MySpace interested in to men and women. And everyone at school was like, oh. It was a big deal because I went to a school that was tiny. You know, my graduating class was maybe 150 people. The whole town was a town of 7,000, small town Minnesota. And it was a different time. It was pre, you know, I always use Glee as when gay started to become more mainstream. It was pre that era of where queerness, you know, there was queer as folk and there was queer for the straight guy. And
but it wasn't
something that you didn't come out.
Small town USA.
You didn't come out. You just didn't. You waited till college. And so I came out not on purpose, but on purpose.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you know, I came out. I didn't come out to my parents until about a year later, I think, is about when I did, and that was kind of fascinating.
Yeah.
Because I came out to my mom, and it was actually in a fight. Because I had started to wear nail polish and eyeliner because I went through
the emo
phase. I knew I liked dudes at a very, very, very young age. I knew that I was interested in people that were dudes and guys and things, and dudes and guys. And here's, you know, I kind of alluded to this earlier. I was not the I'm not gay kind of in the closet. I was honestly a bully, and I was really mean, and I used a lot of problematic language and said a lot of really hurtful things to people and was really brutal about it. And for that, there's no excuse for me being like that, no matter how insecure or how in the closet I was. It was bad. It was not good. And, you know, if any of those people are watching, I'm very sorry that happened and that came from me. And that was something that I caused problems in your life, because there definitely was other gay guys in school and I was ruthless.
Yeah.
And so the emo phase came along. I started to embrace more. I saw men who were embracing their feminine side, and I said, oh, okay, this is cool. I'm into this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started to, you know, wear eyeliner and nail polish, and my mom would catch me and be not very pleased because she was never mad at the idea that I might be gay or something. My mom always was in the best interest of protecting me, because again,
she was worried you were going to
get my ass kicked or something. You know, I was in a small town. It was not a liberal town by any means.
Yeah.
And so she was always like, Christopher, stop. What are you doing? And then we got in a big, huge fight about it. And she's like, why? Why do you want to do this? What's going on? What are, you know, and at that point in my life, I had alienated a lot of my friends because I was changing who I was. You know, I went from this jock kind of bully to trying to be more feminine and trying to be something else. So it was a complete personality shift for my parents, for my friends, and I was alienating everybody and pushing everybody away. Mm-hmm. And so my mom was frustrated with me, like, what are you doing? Why? And she, you know,
why are you doing this?
Yeah, she wasn't asking me why I was wearing eyeliner and makeup. She was asking me, why are you pushing me away? But it came out, you know, why are you doing this? What's going on?
Yeah.
And I started fucking bawling, and I was like, it's because I'm bi, Mom. What do you know? And she's like, you're not. And I was like, no, that's who I am. And she kind of was quiet and just said, you know, okay, I don't necessarily want you dating anybody right now, you know, in kind of protective mom mode. And we had a moment and I was crying and she was crying. It was a whole thing. And we kind of put it away. And then, of course, eventually I said, well, fuck that. I'm going to date some people. And I brought a guy home, and I didn't tell them who it was, obviously.
Naturally.
But, and the funny thing is I don't think I ever officially came out to my dad. He just kind of found out.
I know this story.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell the full thing, but he just kind of found out in a very funny way. In a really funny moment. And they've always been really cool about it for the most part. And there was that initial roughness of, okay, now we got a queer kid. What do we do about it? You know, and they're struggling.
How do we keep you safe?
How do we keep me safe? How do we make sure we're supportive? Because my mom especially has always been the person who defended queer people, even when she in the 70s and 80s when she was younger, and she, you know, she was always that kind of advocate. And so I think she just didn't know how to process how to keep me safe in that moment and in those moments. And so, yeah, that's when I came out, and I told the whole school I started dating dudes, and I haven't dated a woman since, you know, like it's been a whole thing. And and we'll get into more of like our current sexuality as we go, our journey now. But yeah, that was my coming out. It was kind of weird, and I sort of outed myself on purpose, even though it was an accidental. It's a whole world.
There's probably some psychology going.
Oh yeah, there was some deep internal
stuff.
homophobia going on with me. It's still probably a little bit, but
I mean, that's a whole
other topic.
Yeah, which we might get into very soon. Filming tonight.
My goodness.
Yeah. So, I have a little bit more I'll say about my coming out experience, which is, when I finally did come out just before my 16th birthday, I said I came out to my mom first, and well, boy, that was a journey. Hi, Mom, I love you. She's adorable. She just asked me how she could subscribe to this channel.
It's tonight. So cute. Shay's mom is my favorite. She's adorable.
But she was really great. She was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Mom, I was bawling my eyes out before I said anything."
Obviously,
I was like, I'm a boy." That was it. My whole family, we used to play this kind of game where we're like, "Would you still love me if when we were kids? Would you still love me if I had a unibrow?" And which is no shade if you have a unibrow, whatever, do you, right?
Well, Frida had a unibrow.
Yeah, no, I actually really love unibrows. It'd be things like that, really silly stuff, and I'd be like, "Of course I'd still love you." And that was our whole thing of like, I'll love you no matter what.
Yeah.
As a family, we would do that. And jokingly, when I was a kid, but kind of like 12, 13, and I was like, I might be a dude. I was like, one time I was like, "Would you still love me if I was a boy?" And they were like, "Yeah, of course, whatever." And they never thought about it again because that was a thing that we did.
Yeah.
And then we're having this conversation, and I'm like,
"Do you still love me?"
I'm like, I'm bawling my eyes out. I'm like, I'm a boy. She's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Well,
I can just hear your mom's voice.
I can't do this. This isn't the body I'm supposed to be in. This is blah blah blah." And she's like, I don't know what we're supposed to do." I'm like, "You can't buy me those diamond earrings." I'm like sobbing. It's just this whole thing.
Wouldn't recommend getting those earrings.
She was like, what is going on? And my mom's been really supportive, but she had a similar reaction to your mom of, it's not that I don't want you to be who you are, and it's not that I don't support you. I just want to keep you safe. And I remember my mom saying, "I just don't want your life to be harder."
My mom said the same shit too.
Make your life harder. Can you live your life not like this? And I was like, it doesn't work that way. My life will be a million times harder emotionally and whatever if I don't just do this for myself. My dad, on the other hand, he was like, no shade. He was like, "You'll never be my son." And I was like, all right.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
It was rough. He was not a fan. He was like, "You're not getting your hair cut. You're not whatever." So anyways, fast forward, it took years, and it took a lot of fighting. It took a lot of heartbreak. And eventually my dad and I worked through things, and
he's so supportive now.
He's so supportive. He introduces me to his friends at church as his son and is so proud of me.
Yeah,
and
he's really good.
He gave me this like dog chain necklace that's like, "I love you, my son, something, be the man I know you can be," whatever.
Yeah.
And it was like, I sobbed. I was like, "Oh my God, I'm your son." You said I would and never be.
You fucking...
But, and I just want anyone who may be going through something like that to know that it sounds like cliche and shitty, that like things get better. And I don't know for a fact that they will.
Right.
But if you're willing to try and you're willing to work with people, sometimes they do.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a journey. It's a journey, you know.
It's hard, you know. My dad went through 16 years with me, expecting for my life to be one thing, to turn out one way, and
360, you know, literally
180.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, but basically,
right? Because circles that go all the way around. I get it. Yeah, okay.
But it basically, you know, you gotta realize that it took me. You know, I think I was probably like, maybe I had been questioning things. I always knew that I wasn't a girl.
Yeah.
Like from the first time my first memory that I can remember, I just knew I wasn't a girl. I didn't know I was a boy. I didn't know that I could be trans.
You just knew you weren't a girl.
I just knew I wasn't a girl. And then I think I was probably like 10, 11, 12. I don't know. Whenever I think it was Thomas Speedy, the pregnant man, was on Oprah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It was a trans guy who decided to give birth. And I was like, oh my God. It was the first trans person, or the first trans man I had ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I can do that. That's what I am. I was like, it was just this life-changing thing. It was this click, and it was like, this is real, because I'm not that old, but this information wasn't out there like it is now.
No.
It just started. I mean, I hate to say it, but there was a shift just very recently.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to say who was the reason for the shift, but we all know that Caitlyn Jenner coming out was the main shift. And I mean, there was stuff before then.
Right, but it really illuminated.
Yeah,
it was very illuminating.
And it went from people being like, you're going to hell, to, oh, you're so brave. But
yeah, for real though.
So, you know, that's my coming out.
You know, I think it would be appropriate for us to, you know, before we wrap this one up, part one, I think it would be appropriate for us to, if you're comfortable sharing, of course, just disclosing kind of where we've arrived at our current journey, because as you know, as I do, sexuality and gender are very fluid things that evolve and adapt and change. And, you know, I firmly believe that we discover things about ourselves as we grow, and as you experiment, and as you try, and as you learn, as you know, we change. I'm a different person than I was even 5 years ago, you know?
Shit, I'm a different person than I was 2 months ago.
Yeah, for real. You know, and so for me, I said I came out as bisexual.
Yeah.
And then I solely identified as gay for many, many, many years.
Yeah.
And then I would say in the last 5 or so years, I've started to be more open to other parts of who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And so I definitely had some experiences with women in college. And had some experiences in college. And had some experiences, you know, had lots of experience with men. Obviously, I've dated men. But I think, you know, as I've evolved and grown, I've come to realize that I'm probably closer somewhere to pansexual in who I am. And I'm definitely more homo-romantic and attracted to more, you know, for dating-wise and romance-wise, more attracted to masculine type people.
Yeah.
Or traditionally masculine, I guess is the right way to say it.
I don't know that I'm traditionally masculine.
No, not at all.
You're attracted to me, so.
Fair. But yeah, that's sort of, I think, where I've landed on where I'm at right now. And of course, that might change. I might, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a spectrum, and things are ever evolving. People are ever changing, always evolving.
100%.
So.
How about you, if you're comfortable sharing?
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to.
No, I'm completely okay with that. If you ever check any of my social media, I'm always just like, hey, I'm gay, or whatever. Which the weird thing is, I don't necessarily identify as gay. I actually identify as queer.
Yeah.
Because I really like the ambiguity of it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like my sexuality is ever evolving and changing, but I always know that I will forever be queer.
Yeah.
And so I'm attracted to men, I'm attracted to women, I'm attracted to non-binary people, and romantically, who knows? Like, I don't know. Like, if I like you, I like you.
Fair.
More often than not, I tend to lean towards men, but I've dated lots of women. A lot of them. I've dated a lot of men. I've dated a lot of people. I've dated a lot of non-binary people.
You're a hoe.
Yeah. So I identify as queer sexuality-wise, and when it comes to gender, I identify as transmasculine. So, you know, like, basically all that means is that, for the most part, I'm a dude. I'm just not a cis dude.
He's a dude. She's a dude.
We're all dudes. I mean, it's California. We're all dudes here.
We're all dudes, yeah.
I call my mom dude. She's a dude. Ted's a dude.
Ted's definitely a dude.
That camera's a dude. This microphone's a dude.
This drink is a dude.
We're all dudes.
We would love to just hear, if you have a coming out story, we'd love to hear it. We'd love to hear you talk about it. If you want to share, of course. Leave it in the comments below. Hit the like button if you like.
Drop your pronouns in the comments. I would love to know that.
To see a bunch of pronouns would be so cool. But yeah, hit the like button. It helps us out a lot. We're gonna come back with part 2 talking about this. Again, I want to know what you think. We really love your participation. We've had really good engagement. It's so cool to see. Cheers to you guys.
Welcome to the conversation.
Shit. It's getting emotional up in here. Talking about me being a bully was hard.
Oh yeah.
I was getting a little emotional about that. I was like, God damn it, Chris, don't fucking cry on camera.
I was like, it's so weird because I had the exact opposite experience, and it's interesting because I was always like, I'm gonna never like a person like that. Like, I will never